So we start inside the box with Mar, which unfortunately was only... It didn't complete its release. It wasn't the most spectacular thing I'd ever watched, but it was definitely very intriguing. Very strange form of humor. And that kind of thing always takes getting used to. Hard to tell if it was going to go anywhere, but I enjoyed its little quirks. Its world. Next up, we have Orphan. And this is a complete series that has the first and the second season. Not like the discs are anything to really look at. So, very briefly, what I remember, this one kind of gives you an idea of what it's trying to do from the start, I think. But I felt like that actually kind of weakened it a bit. I think most people really like the first season more than the second, based upon the ratings. But my opinion of the first season was it gave us kind of an impossible task from the get-go. No real idea what the characters were going to do. Whereas in the second season, I thought the second season was more relaxed and more interesting simply because the characters were able to wander around more, and I don't remember what actually happened, what the purpose of the second season was. I just remember that feeling. Like I enjoyed the second season more. Let's see. Collection 1, Collection 2. First up we have a Red Garden Collection 1. I originally was buying the individuals for this, and then when it looked like ADV wasn't going to release the final discs, they were going with these complete collections instead, I bought them. As for my opinion on the series, it's, let's see, very interesting ideas, but something was a little off by the execution. I can't think of exactly what it was, since it was just really strange. Wouldn't make it on my top list, but it's nowhere near my hated list. Because, well, okay, I admit it takes a lot to get onto my hated list, and this didn't really do anything to make me even really turn away from watching it. So I guess the problem is it kind of hinders on the edge of promising interestingness that only slightly that you're only slightly fulfilled by it as it progresses, possibly. I'm not sure if that's entirely accurate. I remember the OVA better, and I thought the OVA was interesting. It's kind of where I expected parts of the series to go as it went, and it didn't. So, I don't know. Next up, we've got X. I know I showed the clamp stuff recently. There's nothing really interesting to show about the discs, the X Remix. I've tried to start this series a couple of times. Problems keep happening. I think the first episode on X Remix is an episode that's really intended for people who have already watched the whole series, so it's just confusing as fuck, and it's probably spoilerific if I could understand what in the hell it was trying to say. So the first time, I stopped because of that. The second time I was watching it with somebody, and she was talking about how she preferred the manga instead, so she gave me permission to continue on my own, but I gave her time to decide that's what she really wanted, and then forgot that I was watching it. So this is X the Motion Picture, which I think actually came first. I don't remember. There's similar stories. Gosh. Okay. Why don't we talk about something I remember a little bit better? 12 Kingdoms. This is box set 1. I have the 2 box set release. I think there's an orange both seasons released. So the way this anime is set up, that's a neat art. The way this one's set up is it's based upon a series of novels, I believe, and there were a total of 7 of them, if I remember right. The series covers the contents of the first 4 novels, where the first and second actually deal with this character here. No, the first and third deal with this character, and the second and fourth are slightly off topic, maybe? I remember the fourth, and the fourth was not a great way to end the series, so I try and think of this in terms of how the third story chunk ended. Because that's what I really liked. That was pretty epic. And I actually liked the way it began, too. It's difficult for me to remember the journey along the way, other than it kind of left me wondering where it was going to go, because it's one of those series where you wonder if it's going to go somewhere. So you keep watching because it's just interesting enough to pique your curiosity. Oh well. Let's see. Let's go on to the next pile. So, I haven't watched any Emma yet. I'd say I haven't had a chance to, but the truth is, I can watch whatever the hell I want. I have plenty of chances to. Why I haven't, I can't exactly say for certain. I just haven't. Because my attention just goes wherever I let it go. One of the problems with a collection this big is it can go anywhere. You'll maybe entertained to know that, well, I didn't have to look for Emma this way, but like Mar and Orphan, I had to use the, I used the whole collection video I uploaded earlier this week to actually figure out where in the collection they were located. That was just an aside. Next up, let's talk about Aria. This is Aria the animation, which should be the first one. Let's see. My opinion on this series is a little mixed. It's got some really neat stuff in it, but at the same time, sometimes it feels like it's not going anywhere, and sometimes that's something I really like in an anime. This is Aria the Natural Part 1, which would be the second season. As you can see, I'm on the second disc here, but it's been a long time since I started this season, so it raises a question of if it's pointless of me to even mark that. And these, of course, come with booklets, something that the Right Stuff likes to do. Let's at least do that, since I do want to get to the later Arias, since those are, well, the latest one, the last one, is rated really high. Of course, I have to get through all of Aria the Natural first, with all of its hit and miss. Hit and miss for me. But this is part 2 of the second season. I wonder if another problem is just that I've been exposed to so much stuff that I kind of expect, I don't know. And this box set, which has Aria the Origination, which is the one that's rated really highly as far as I can tell, this one also has Aria the OVA Arietta, which I believe takes place between Origination and the Natural. My friend did have an interesting point that one reason this could be rated so high is because the kind of person who would watch the third season is somebody who enjoyed the first 2 seasons. And I guess that's a possible point. But I'm going to hold off ultimate judgment until I've had a chance to watch these. To watch them all the way through. And finally we've got Kannagi, which is just these 2 DVD releases. Oh, and that happens to be the shirt I'm wearing today. Huh. Funny. I didn't even realize that. We've got Pandora Hearts. A really pretty looking series. I still haven't had a chance to watch it. I would really like to. Don't know what to make about the artwork on the inside. It's not bad. It just doesn't quite seem as awesome spectacular as that. I don't know what it is about it that piques my curiosity so much. Got the second season, or the second volume here. That should be all of it. So, of course, this is an NIS release, so they have the 13 episodes or the 12 episodes on 2 discs, and all their releases come with a booklet. Can't exactly tell what this booklet is, so it's probably another collection of drawings and stuff. Let's see. Next up, we've got Blood the Last Vampire. This is the original movie, and we've got we've got part 1 of Blood Plus. This was a pretty good series. Oh shoot. Y'all don't expect me to remember what this thing is called, do you? 'Cause I've already forgotten. That's what happens with vocabulary I don't use. What order are these discs in? I'm going to reverse the order, because I can. So we've got discs 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, which gives us the first 25 episodes. And it comes with this Dark Horse manga preview. Yeah, I wonder what that is. And then we've got Blood Plus Collection 2. So this one was actually released very weird. I think the basic idea was, let's see, changing the order. You know, this is definitely one of those things you wear on your head. See, I think the way they did it was they released these complete collections first, but then we're also releasing individual discs separately. I don't think they completed that individual thing released, but there you go. 50 episodes. Up to episode 50 on this. Another Dark Horse manga preview. Yeah, it's all real strange. But, you know, as long as the industry's doing good, that's actually not too bad of a thing to have the industry do. It basically is the way the industry just continues to move. Next up, let's finish this pile with First Angel, which I also had mixed opinions about. There were really neat things about it, but I didn't really like the swimsuit episode a whole lot. Mostly because I thought Gonzo, I think, is who did this, maybe? I thought Gonzo went a little overboard with some of the breasts. Sometimes it was distracting that the CGI was a little lower FPS, frames per second, than everything else. But otherwise, I guess it was pretty well put together. So little things that bugged me, but overall, it was neat to watch. Joe's pretty cool. And this, of course, is the Infinity OVA. Next up comes a very popular inside the box request. Case Closed, which unfortunately, according to Funimation, didn't really sell that well. And they gave it like 3 attempts, I think. So they're not going to bring any more over, I guess. But obviously, it's requested a good amount. And these season releases are actually pretty nice and compact. I guess the general style is just not for everyone. But we can go through these seasons fast, because that's already 3 seasons down. I guess it does suffer from the problem of, you know, introducing a major story idea at the very beginning and never really making progress other to that. Just occasionally teasing us, the viewer. It's possible something like that could frustrate viewers. At the same time, it comes up rarely enough that I think a lot of us have just been able to enjoy it. The movies have supposedly sold well, although I thought I heard that. See, this has the first 2 movies on it. The movies are definitely really great. Even if the series is something that you probably wouldn't want to watch a whole lot of, giving the movies a try might not be too bad of an idea. And I've heard that they've actually sold well enough where maybe more would come out. Although it's been a long time since that happened, and I don't know if I've heard anything from Funimation since then. So, well, it's not like I've got direct links to Funimation, so that's only what I've heard other people say, and I guess we have to take that with a grain of salt, right? Next up, we've got Marmalade Boy. This, I'm probably not going to open too much. Yeah, we'll just stick with what's on the inside. Now, I only started watching this, and it's a pretty stereotypical seeming 80s drama, I think. Sort of like, what are some other recent examples? Like Yawara? Something, it has the same feel as that sort of stuff. Probably something else I watched recently, but I can't think of what. I don't know. All I know is Marmalade Boy was released in these 4 scrapbook versions. They have like 3 discs each. I don't know how many episodes each. Maybe I can find out. So this one goes up to episode 57. It starts at 39. So it's almost 13 episodes per collection. Maybe. Ish. No, wait. If it starts at 39, 39 is usually what 13 times 3 is, so that's usually where the third one ends. But if this one's beginning at 39, that means that the first one's actually had 19 episodes per. So that's actually a pretty dense collection of episodes. This should be the 4th and final. I don't know if I've ever checked if it all came out. I never got too far into it. I probably only finished the first disc on the first scrapbook. It ends at 76. And Special Marmalade Boy movie. I don't know. I guess I say that, and if you think that that's not all of it, you'd be able to mention that. We end inside the box with the Tenchi stuff. I've watched a lot of this stuff multiple times. There's a huge nostalgia factor in there. But overall, I'm not quite sure if I can necessarily say that all the Tenchi stuff is something that necessarily holds up to time. I guess I should go back and rewatch. But at the same time, there are series I want to rewatch much more than Tenchi Muyo. I think a lot of people really like Tenchi Universe. Having watched the original Tenchi Muyo OVA a lot more than this one, though, I actually didn't like how it felt like an inferior version of it. So I wasn't a very big fan of Tenchi Universe. Instead, I actually really liked the very strange Tenchi in Tokyo. I liked its more complete and thorough story. I liked its deeper villain. And I guess people have complained about repetitive music, but I really like the music. And when I like the music of something, I really don't mind that it's repetitive. In fact, I've been known to listen to the same song on repeat dozens of times. I don't think any of my friends do that, but I could be mistaken. Then we've got the 3 Tenchi movies. We've got Tenchi Muyo in Love, which I guess means he goes back in time and sees his mom. Yeah, that sounds like Freudian slip. And then we've got Tenchi the movie 2, The Daughter of Darkness. And then we've got Tenchi Forever. Probably my least favorite of the 3 movies. Now, as much as I like Tenchi in Tokyo, I actually like Magical Project S as my favorite of the Tenchi related stuff. And that's mostly because Magical Project S is... It just really doesn't take itself very seriously at all. And it's quite hilarious while also throwing in some good drama that a series needs. I don't think that that's particularly unique to this series. But either way, it's a series that this specific one, Magical Project S, is one of my personal favorites. 20 or 21, I guess. I have to figure out something with that. Here we have a Tenchi Muyo Mihoshi special, which also has the original Magical Girl Pretty Sammy OVAs, and, well, let's just say I'm glad that Magical Project S did not go with a Magical Girl Pretty Sammy OVA stuff. You know, it tried not to be its own thing. You could say the same thing about Sasami Magical Girls Club, how it definitely tried to not be the same thing. In fact, it has even less Tenchi characters than the other stuff. But, I don't know, something was a little off about it. Even watching it, not thinking about any relations to Tenchi it had. Although, I do have to say that I really love the opening to this series. I think it was perfect. Especially for what the series was trying to do. And I'm finishing up with Tenchi Muyo GXP, which I only watched once, and it was actually a bad subtitled version. Let's turn it down here. And... could have been the subtitles, but mostly I was annoyed by that yellow thing. So overall, I didn't find it to be as enjoyable as the other Tenchi stuff, especially since it has even less Tenchi in it than well, Magical Project S, I guess. But actually, the one with the least Tenchi stuff would be Sasami Magical Girls Club. I don't know. Anyways, that's this week's Inside the Box. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to show some fantasy stuff, aren't I? And Slayers was very explicitly asked for by somebody. I misread my list, so we'll go over that. So Slayers is a good example of a fantasy anime that I actually really respect. It's a very stereotypical 90s sort of show. I mean, you kind of watch it and you just feel like you're watching a 90s anime. But, that's my strongest impression, other than the fact that I remember Lena Inverse always being so cool. This is stuff I watched within the last couple of years, so I don't remember, well, except for the first season. I don't know when I watched the first season. But basically, it's enjoyable mostly because of Lena Inverse. Because you want to know what she's going to do. She could technically destroy the entire world, all of existence, if she wanted to. She's that kick-ass. Except, you know, there's always risks trying to do that. Or rather, that's the easy thing to do. That's usually the downside to her spells. Accidentally destroying the universe or something. I don't know. We've got the seasons, including the two or one or two new ones. It depends on how you look at it. We've got the Slayers OVA collection, which has Book of Spells, excellent. Slayers, excellent. Then we've got the movie collection. Now, I'm not quite sure if the first Slayers movie exactly gets it off, but... or gets the idea across. But if you wanted to try checking out Slayers, it may not be too bad of an idea to check out some of the movies first. Since they kind of give you the same idea of, you know, presenting situations where you never quite know if the series is about to do something really cool or really silly. So I guess you'd maybe like Slayers if you are okay with a little silly being in your anime. Oh, you know, it's probably Orphan. Both Slayers and Orphan feel like 90s animes when you watch them. I don't know. And a title I wanted to suggest as another interesting fantasy one is Tower of Druaga. So this first box set actually comes with both versions of the first episode, and the series itself is quite amusing for a number of reasons, while at the same time just being really well designed, save for the twist at the very end of the series itself. Not the first season. See, it's a 26 episode series, but it's released in 2 seasons called like the Tower of the Aegis of Uruk and the Sword of Uruk. The most interesting thing is probably the troll opening, where like it is a complete fantasy series, but the openings make it look like it's some sort of slice of life modern day high school drama or something like that. And the music's actually really catchy as well. It's a great troll anime, and I really love the characters in it. I liked everything about it, including the resolution. I just didn't really like the big twist at the very end of the series. So, if give it a shot, I say.